And that does it for today. We'll be back with another edition of America Decides tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. The first ever Daily Report with John Dickerson starts right now.
Welcome to the Daily Report for April 22nd, 2024. I'm John Dickerson. The preliminaries are over. Donald Trump's criminal trial has started with a clash of opening statements, and even the first witness got in the box Monday. Just one of Trump's former allies turned witness against him. We'll have a report from inside the Manhattan courthouse, and our Ricky Kleeman, who has worked both as a prosecutor and defense attorney, will join us to analyze what was said and what it means. Ukraine got a lifeline this weekend with $61 billion in the foreign funding bill in the House, but for the last 2 years, tens of thousands of desperate Ukrainians have been given a lifeline in the United States, as Americans have sponsored their journey here as immigrants. Camila Montoya Galvez gives us an update on that program. And on this Earth Day, can you spare some love for the oceans? They give and they take. Oceans generate 50% of the oxygen on the planet and absorb 90% of excess heat created by global warming. They're called the lungs of the Earth. Ben Tracy tells us he'll go deeper. Plus, Leslie Stahl is here from 60 Minutes to explain why the current Commerce Secretary is in the thick of everything. Now, also on Monday, the Supreme Court heard arguments about how cities treat the homeless sleeping in public. We're also checking about drug shortages and romance scams. The numbers there are not small. All that and the most eerie photograph of the Titanic catastrophe. And the picture doesn't even include the ship. The Daily Report starts in a moment. Hello, thank you for joining us. A hush money cover-up conspiracy or just pieces of paper Donald Trump had nothing to do with? Those are the two choices lawyers put before the jurors in the New York City criminal trial of the former President Donald Trump. Opening statements were Monday in the first ever criminal prosecution of a former president. Trump, the likely Republican nominee for president, is accused of falsifying business records as part of an alleged scheme to cover up payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels right before the 2016 election, to silence her story of an alleged affair with Trump. The former publisher of the National Enquirer, David Pecker, was the first witness called to the stand. Prosecutors call him one member of a three-man plot who they are relying on to tell the story of this alleged conspiracy, sharing his conversations with Trump and Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, about burying stories that could have hurt Trump's reputation. Trump's campaign is taking a hit from his legal troubles, and it's not just because he is required to be stuck in court instead of on the trail. Federal Election Commission filings over the weekend show Trump's Save America super PAC spent roughly $3.7 million in legal fees in March alone. CBS News campaign reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman joins me now from outside the courthouse in downtown Manhattan, where jurors brought a first day of school attention to their tasks. So what stuck out to you about what was happening in the courtroom? I mean, this is the first day of actual trial going on. The jurors, the judge, what struck you? The nation's drug supply is running short. Coming up, why some medications are harder to find and what that means for the people who need them. You're streaming the Daily Report. Welcome back to the Daily Report. I'm John Dickerson. Here are some additions to our top stories. The prosecution and defense presented their opening statements Monday in former President Trump's New York criminal trial. Prosecutors also called their first witness, David Pecker, under allegations he helped Trump in 2016 by burying negative stories about him. Protests are escalating at major college campuses over the Israel-Hamas war. Columbia University in New York switched to all remote classes on Monday, first day of Passover. Pro-Palestinian protesters have been on campus for nearly a week, with more than 100 people arrested. The Supreme Court heard arguments Monday that could affect many Americans facing homelessness. The case revolves around an Oregon city's law banning camping on public property. The policy has prompted concerns about criminalizing sleep when people have nowhere else to go. 2024 kicked off with the highest number of drug shortages on record. The American Society of Health System Pharmacists says there were 323 active medication shortages in the first 3 months of the year. Back in February, a doctor with one of the largest cancer care facilities in the country told Congress what this means for his profession.
In a country that offers the most advanced cutting-edge cancer therapies, we were put in a situation that a decade of medical training did not prepare us for. The moral dilemma of how to ration our limited supply of these chemotherapies.
CBS News reporter Erica Brown has been on the phones reporting out this story, and she joins me now to tell us what she found. Erica, good to be with you. Thank you for doing this work. Why? Well, let's start with which drugs are in short supply first. Introduced to the ocean when conditions improve. Here's a look at some of the stories we're covering in our next hour. The jury in Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York heard opening statements and their first witness. We'll have more from the courtroom. Plus, 2 years ago, the United States began resettling Ukrainians displaced by Russia's invasion. We check in on how one family is living and working in New Jersey. And sharks are known predators of the seas, but protecting them is key to protecting the oceans. We'll explain in our Climate Watch report. You're streaming CBS News.